Hey guys, what's up, Alex here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be previewing the Canadian Grand Prix coming up this weekend. But before we get into this, I want to quickly speak about this documentary I've been making. If you're not interested about that, there'll be a timestamp in the description and in the comment section, so just skip ahead to the preview down there. But yes, I want to speak about this documentary because a couple of weeks ago I finished university for good. I finished my third year of my television production course. For this last year we were creating what ended up being a 25-minute documentary about motorsport, and I loved the whole experience and I want to share it with you guys here on YouTube. Unfortunately there was like a false copyright claim which is preventing me uploading it sooner. It was supposed to go up over a week ago, but annoying hassle with YouTube nowadays and copyright issues. So yeah, that'll be up soon. But yeah, I want to play you a quick trailer from this because it's been a big project, 6 months in the making. Well, I suppose 2 years in the making really. I started conceptualizing this idea 2 years ago, but it's only been over the last 6 months that I've been recording and filming this process. So here's a quick trailer from Dream Chaser, a documentary about my first steps into motorsport. What does it really take for a complete novice to get to their first race? Let me know what your thoughts are on this trailer, with the full version coming soon. I'm Alex Baldwin, and I want to know how hard it is to follow your dreams. Since I was young, motorsport has been a huge part of my life. I have immersed myself within the sport, but I've never had the opportunity to race competitively. In 3 months' time, I'm hoping to race in an endurance club event in a BMW 3 Series. But before I race, there are many things I need to overcome. These challenges will test me to my limit and question whether the effort will be worth achieving a life's ambition. So, as you've probably realised if you followed me on social media, this has been a massive process. Loads of things have had to fit into place. It's been a massive jigsaw puzzle to make sure we have actually got this documentary to the finish line. Quite literally, because so many things happened, and unfortunately not all of it's going to be in this version of the film because we were limited to 20-25 minutes for our university project. We weren't allowed to have any more, so unfortunately we're going to have to release a longer sort of full version later on, but this was the version we made for university. We've had to trim out quite a lot. It's much shorter than we wanted it to be. We wanted to include a lot of the contemplation, the hard moments. We wanted to include all of those, but unfortunately we just didn't have the time for it. So this is much more of a condensed version, but I'm still very proud of it. So as I said already, I've finished now my third year of university. This was my third year major project, and yeah, I'm very proud of it, very thankful to everyone that was involved, both George and Kaylin who helped me film it, and also all of the amazing contributors. Obviously a lot of them weren't even included in this version of the film, and they'll get their airtime in the long run. But yeah, as I said, I'm so happy I did this and challenged myself to do this project. I'm very happy with the final result, and thankfully it got a really good grade as well, and that means a lot to me because I didn't leave A-levels with a very good grade. So to come out of university with a first-class honours degree, I'm very proud of that, and I think it does show you dedicate yourself to something and you enjoy creating it, you can get to that end goal, even if maybe like me you didn't focus on your A-levels as much as you probably should have done. So nonetheless, that's as much me rambling about this documentary as possible. I'll put up some more teasers over the next couple of days over on my Twitter page, which you'll see in the description down below. But nonetheless, let's finally get into the preview for the Canadian Grand Prix. So thanks to everyone that just stuck with me in that opening bit here. Let's preview this Canadian Grand Prix now and start off with Mercedes. So they've had an incredible start to the season, probably one of the most dominant starts to a season ever, if not the most dominant start to the season ever. It's just insane what they've really done in Formula 1 over the last couple of years, and to come into this season after 2018, which could have been seen as one of their weaker seasons over the past 4 or 5 years, they've come into 2019 and just absolutely dominated. Okay, yes, Bahrain was probably a bit lucky. Let's be honest, they probably weren't going to win that race without Charles Leclerc having the issue. Well, they definitely weren't going to win that race without Charles Leclerc having that issue. But nonetheless, first few races of the seasons, 1-2, only a small slip up in the Monaco Grand Prix where you can't really overtake, and obviously Bottas didn't have the greatest of times whilst getting hit by Verstappen in the pit lane, meaning he lost a bit of time and had to come in and get a new front wing, I think it was, and tyres. So yeah, that's the only thing that really ruined their 1-2. I think, let's be honest, if Hamilton was obviously struggling with his tyres, I think if Bottas was in second place, he was going to finish in second place. It's just the way it played out. Bottas was incredibly quick. He caught up to the back of those guys very quickly when he lost time. So yeah, I think we're going to go into this Canadian Grand Prix expecting what we've seen at the start of the season, more Mercedes domination. Okay, it's not what us Formula 1 fans want. We don't want to see Mercedes winning every single Grand Prix, but right now we've just got to admit they've built an incredible car. They've got two incredible drivers. Lewis Hamilton, seen by many as the greatest of all time. You know, whether you agree with that or not is up to you, but we're not going to get into that subject today. Two incredible drivers nonetheless, and they're just maximising every last tenth out of that car, which is just fantastic to see. But you know, on one side it's fantastic to see because it's just the maximum performance out of the Formula 1 car in the current regulations, but on one side it's obviously very tough to watch Formula 1 Grand Prix and know the result basically after the first corner, which is tough. So nonetheless, we go into this Canadian Grand Prix. I expect a Mercedes 1-2. Whether it's Hamilton or Bottas comes out on top, I don't know. Historically, it's been a fantastic track for both Hamilton and Bottas. Bottas scoring, I think, was it second or third place on the grid when he was in a terrible Williams car. So the fact that he's now in a front-running car, we'll see. Maybe this could be another really good result for Bottas. This could be another victory on the cards for him. But once again, a track we go to that Hamilton's fantastic at. I think until maybe it was last year or a couple of years before that, he basically won the Grand Prix or DNF'd. So maybe that's what we'll see this weekend, either a Hamilton win or a DNF. That's a pretty crazy statistic. I'm not sure if that's 100% still true anymore, whether he won it. But basically, win it or bin it. We'll see, of course, what happens this weekend, but I don't expect anything apart from a Mercedes victory unless something very peculiar happens. So we'll expect a Mercedes 1-2 this weekend once again. But let's move on to maybe a bit more of an exciting battle. Who is the second best team now? Well, I think after Spain, I kind of get the feeling that Red Bull have made a bit of a step forward. In my opinion, maybe they're not quite there yet, but possibly they could be the second best car going into some Grand Prix here. So I think Monaco, it was probably the case. Red Bull was probably the second fastest car after the Mercedes. Obviously, you can't really overtake. If Verstappen had got past Hamilton in Monaco, he would have easily won that Grand Prix, in my opinion. I think that most people believe that as well. But going to the Canadian Grand Prix, pretty much the polar opposite to Monaco. Are we going to see Red Bull do well? The Honda power unit seems to be more or less sorted at this point. It doesn't have quite the top end of the Mercedes power unit, but I'm still confident to see Red Bull going into this Grand Prix. I think they could honestly challenge for the podium. I mean, it's really between them and Ferrari for who's going to finish third in this Grand Prix, unless, as I said, something peculiar does happen. But I think Red Bull have really made a step forward, which is really exciting to see. Whether they are the car to try and challenge the Mercedes for the rest of the season, I don't know. But at the same time, I think Verstappen is on the top of his game right now. And of course, he's still young. He's still, 21, 22 years old. Quite incredible what he's done in his first couple of years of Formula 1, and it's very exciting to see what he'll do when he has the car to beat, basically, whether he can be stopped. That'd be very interesting to see. But yeah, I think Red Bull could be the second best car right now, but whether we go into a Grand Prix that doesn't really suit them, that's quite likely. I don't think that Canada is going to be a particularly strong one for Red Bull. I think that Ferrari probably will still edge them out, even if they don't have quite the better car. They've got the better engine, so let's move on to Ferrari. I mean, what is going on right now with those guys? I mean, yes, they got a second place in Monaco. Yes, they were the first team to beat or stop the Mercedes 1-2. But at the same time, they definitely inherited that through a bit of luck. You feel the pain of the Ferrari fans because they've gone through so many years of turmoil. They've came close in 2017 and 2018. How's it gone so badly wrong for them? Okay, at this point, let's be honest, they're probably not going to win this championship. Unless something insane happens to Mercedes, it's going to be a Mercedes 1-2 in the Drivers' Championship. But I can't see Ferrari winning a championship anytime soon. It's very easy for us fans to sit here at the sidelines and critique them, of course. we don't know what's going on inside Ferrari. Of course, they've had some high-key losses. High-key people have sadly lost their life over the last couple of years, which has undoubtedly took its toll on the organisation. But at the same time, they don't look like a team that can go for the championship right now. Red Bull definitely seem to be the more solid outfit as a team that can go for championship. They're good with their strategy calls. Red Bull, they typically wring the most out of the car on each given weekend, whereas Ferrari, I don't know, it just when it can go wrong, it does go wrong for them. And I don't know, I just really, I don't know what to say really. It's just very disappointing for a team that has had so much history in Formula 1, so many victories, so many championships, to just make rookie errors right now. I mean, they're making errors which even GP2 teams aren't making, which does make you question what's going on right now. You just got your fingers crossed for the Ferrari fans and the Italian public who support Ferrari through thick and thin, that this just gets turned around, because we don't want to be in a Formula 1 where Ferrari are just being an embarrassment, because they're sort of the stake for Formula 1. They are the team that defines a lot of Formula 1's history. So being bad is not what we want as Formula 1 fans, or most Formula 1 fans. We want to see Ferrari being somewhat competitive, and right now it just doesn't really look that way. It doesn't look like we're going to see a Ferrari in the top step of a podium anytime soon, let alone win the championship. But yeah, really their battle this year is to try and beat Red Bull. I think Red Bull have already outdeveloped them this season, considering how quick they were in pre-season testing Ferrari, considering the fact they're probably behind Red Bull, who probably were about a second back in pre-season testing. It's quite incredible. I mean, the development rate of Red Bull throughout the season has always been incredible, but then going to this year being so far back from Ferrari and catching them up so quickly is incredible. So let's see what they can do. Hopefully Ferrari can claw them back, and hopefully Ferrari can win races this season along with Red Bull, but I'm not that confident really. I'm a bit doubtful if that's going to happen. Anyway, let's go on to the exciting part of the Formula 1 grid right now, because if some of the TV directors were choosing their battles more wisely, we'll be seeing some fantastic racing, because the midfield this year has been absolutely enthralling. It's been very, very exciting, and it's a bit of a shame that not more of this stuff has been shown on TV, because it is absolutely fantastic. So who are we going to be seeing as best of the rest? I mean, in my opinion, best of the rest in Monaco was Toro Rosso. They were slightly unlucky. The strategy didn't quite go their way, and the start definitely didn't go their way. Carlos Sainz had a fantastic start and managed to get past both Toro Rossos on the opening lap. And of course, you can't really overtake in Monaco, and that was just the way it went for the rest of the race. They just couldn't get past, even though undoubtedly the Toro Rosso was a better car than the McLaren. But Toro Rosso, I personally see them as best of the rest going into the rest of the season. Like we're speaking about with Red Bull, whether Canada is going to be a weak point for them, I'm not too sure. I don't think that the Honda Power Unit, as I've already been saying, is quite there yet to really compete on horsepower tracks. But at the same time, I think that Kvyat and Albon really are having fantastic seasons. Yes, okay, there are lots of memes about Kvyat before the start of the season, but I think a lot of people have warmed to him, how good of a start to the season he's had, and just in general his attitude towards Formula 1 this season has definitely changed. Now, of course, I'm coming at this as a Kvyat fan, but I'm very happy for him. He's had a fantastic start to the year. Okay, a couple of things could have gone his way and he could have had a few more points, but at the same time, he had a great result in Monaco, his best result for Toro Rosso ever. Just to throw that out there. Of course, his better results have come with Red Bull when he's got multiple podiums with them. But yeah, I think it's on the way up really for Toro Rosso. Fingers crossed they can keep this going for the rest of the season. I don't think Canada's going to be their best track, but as the actual car for the rest of the season, I think that they probably are best of the rest as we look at them right now. But as we go into Canada, I think another team that might struggle is McLaren. As of course we've been saying, they've had a good start to the season. Carlos Sainz has been really, really good. I'm really, really impressed with him, to be fair. I honestly thought he was going to be somewhat shown up by Norris this year. Okay, Norris did get the better of him in a couple of races so far this year, but at the same time, Carlos Sainz has really come back with a bit of a vengeance and done a fantastic job to score some solid points for the McLaren team. And they're quite comfortably right now in 4th place in the Constructors' Championship, thanks to Carlos Sainz and his tenacious nature throughout this opening few races. So, very good times for McLaren. bouncing back from a couple of years of absolute turmoil where everything that could have gone wrong did, and maybe, you know, the personality of Alonso maybe didn't mesh well with the McLaren team. Maybe just things were sort of counteracting each other, maybe is the best way of saying it. Maybe things just kept going the wrong way because of personalities inside the team, and maybe now some of those personalities have left McLaren. We're seeing, you know, the fruits of all the labour back at the McLaren factory sort of coming to fruition, and maybe they're getting the results because of that. So that's fantastic to see McLaren scoring solid points. I can't see this being their strongest track. We know that the Renault is probably the weakest of the power units right now. We've seen that in both McLaren and the factory Renault team, struggling on horsepower. I can't see this being a track where they score big, but, you know, they've proven us wrong in the past. They got some really good results in somewhere like Spain, where they were absolutely nowhere halfway through that race, and they come through to score some really good points. So let's see what happens. I think they are a very solid team. We both know both Sainz and Norris are fantastic drivers, and I think they'll score lots of points this year. But Canada, they probably will struggle a little bit just because of the bare basics of the car just maybe aren't quite there. The chassis and the engine might not quite work here at Canada. But a team that should do well this weekend is Haas. So we go into this weekend, Haas, they should have got more points in Monaco, and they probably should have scored more points in Spain as well. I think they're going to this weekend knowing that this should be a better track for them. But saying that, they're going to, I think the Chinese Grand Prix, remember back to that, it wasn't a particularly good Grand Prix, if I remember correctly, for Haas in China. I mean, they didn't score any points back there, and they've been a bit of up and down so far this season. Their best result came at the first race of the season, 6th place in Australia. They backed it up with a decent result in Spain. If anything, Spain was their best result of the season, with a 7th place and a 10th place, which should have definitely been a bit more than that, of course, before the team mates started crashing into each other. So that probably should have been more, but I think going to this Grand Prix, they have a good engine in the back of that Haas car. It should be quick. It should be one of the best midfield teams, but we don't know, of course. It all seems to change from race to race in the midfield, which makes it so exciting. So I think we should really not predict too much for the midfield, because it could be a bit all over the place. We could see Sauber or someone suddenly get a good result here this weekend, even though they've been not very good the last couple of races. Who really knows? But at the same time, I think that if I'm going to predict anyone to be near the top of the midfield battles, I'd say Haas, just because of the key points of the car. I think the car's quick in a straight line, and you need a good car in a straight line around Montreal. So we'll see, but I think they're going to be good. So we go into a weekend where Racing Point and Renault need some points. I mean, if you look at Racing Point, they haven't scored points since Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan actually was their best Grand Prix of the season, with 6th place and 9th place. And if we look at Renault, I mean, okay, they scored 2 points in Monaco. Lots of things went their way to make that happen, but they've really had a rough start to the season. Only out of all the Grand Prix so far, one of their drivers has got into the points on 3 occasions, which means they've only scored 14 points, and they're currently 8th place in the Constructors' Championship. Considering they were aiming to be clear 4th this year's championship, that's quite bad for them. Don't need me to tell them that. They realise it's not a very good start to the season for them. So I think Racing Point should be strong here. I don't see Renault scoring points this race weekend, I'm not going to lie, unless they have some major upgrades to their engine. I really see this being as a Grand Prix where they struggle. I mean, I thought Monaco was going to be a fantastic Grand Prix for them, and then Hülkenberg has a tough qualifying and Ricciardo has a tough race strategy. It all just went wrong for them. I mean, it's a bit of a meme, the Renault engine, really, for them this past couple of years. And I know they had it with the Red Bull and Red Bull and Renault having the arguments back and forth. But now it's just the Renault team themselves who are struggling with their own power units, so that's tough for them to gauge what's going to happen next. But yeah, as I said, I can't see Renault scoring Canada, or at least scoring big. If they do score, I'd say it's down to luck more than having a good car. But of course, they've got 2 very talented drivers in the car to score those points if they are looking likely. So as a Racing Point, they probably should score. I mean, Lance Stroll's home race, he'll be looking for some solid points, and Sergio Perez, remember correctly, always goes well at Canada, so I think that we'll see maybe a couple of points finishes for them this race weekend. And we go on to the back 2 cars, in my opinion, for the 2019 grid so far. I mean, Alfa Romeo, have they hit a sort of cliff with their 2019 design? They haven't scored points since the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and their results have basically got progressively worse since the start of the season. Yeah, they finished 17th and 19th in the Monaco Grand Prix. It's not looking great for Alfa Romeo. Yes, they've got a good power unit in the back of that car, but I think they might have just hit a brick wall with this design. I don't think there's much scope for development with this, and that's a big shame for Kimi Raikkonen, who went to this team with hope of solid midfield finishes throughout the season. What are your thoughts? Can Alfa Romeo continue to improve with this car, or do you think this is it? Do you think they're sort of restrained now to the second worst team on the grid? Let me know your thoughts and opinions on that one, but I can't see them scoring this race weekend. As for Williams, well, we're just praying for the best. We're praying that they're just getting a bit closer to the cars in front of them, but right now it's just very, very tough for Williams and Williams fans alike, because let's be honest, everything that could go wrong for Williams is basically going that way right now. They've got a bad car, they're struggling with financials, they're damaging parts left, right and centre when they really don't need to be. It's just tough for them. So yeah, we're just praying for better for Williams right now. So let's predict the top 10. I'm going to go with Lewis Hamilton to win the Grand Prix ahead of Valtteri Bottas. I'm going to go with Charles Leclerc to finish 3rd place, 4th place to go to Vettel, 5th place Verstappen, 6th place to Pierre Gasly. Best of the rest, I'm going to go with Kevin Magnussen ahead of Danny Kvyat, Alexander Albon, and then Carlos Sainz to round out the top 10. So unlikely that's going to happen, but let me know your thoughts and opinions on a top 10 in the comment section down below. I think it's going to be a very exciting Grand Prix. I think this is going to be one of the better Grand Prix. Canada always seems to throw up a decent race. Even if it's not fantastic, I think it always throws up a somewhat good one. So let's keep our fingers crossed that the Canadian Grand Prix this year is not going to be a snooze fest. It's going to be an action-packed one throughout. Maybe a bit of weather to spice it up. That would be absolutely fantastic. So that's it. Have a fantastic day, guys. Hopefully you enjoy the Grand Prix, and I'll be back to making more consistent videos soon. I'm happy, I'm done with university, and exciting times are ahead. And yeah, I'll keep you guys updated about what's happening both here on YouTube and my ventures outside. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic day. It's been Alex Ahmad here. Goodbye.